to Look North, I'm Carol Malia. Coming up on tonight's earlier programme, a man's found guilty of murdering a 3-month-old baby on Teesside. Miners head to London to protest at the government taking money from their pensions. A Nepalese Sherpa travels thousands of miles to Teesside to thank school children for their fundraising following a devastating earthquake. And with just hours until England kick off their World Cup campaign against Croatia, we look at the Wearsiders in the squad looking to make an impact tonight. Hello there, we start with some breaking news, and a father has been found guilty of shaking his own son to death. A jury concluded that Bradley Thomas and Oak Thomas in October last year. Jim Scott reports.
Bradley Thomas broke down in tears as today the jury returned a verdict that he was indeed guilty of violently shaking his 3-month-old son to death. At Teesside Crown Court, the 23-year-old of Bredgar had been accused of causing a catastrophic brain injury to Emerson after he struggled to settle in October last year. The former window cleaner previously claimed the boy had slipped to the floor while he himself had fallen asleep, but the prosecution argued he had been the subject of excessive and vigorous forceful shaking. The jury previously heard that injuries were similar to those involved in fatal car crashes or even a fall to concrete from a 3-storey building. Thomas will next appear for sentencing at Teesside Crown Court on the 15th of July. Jim Scott, BBC Look North, Middlesbrough.
Police have launched a murder investigation after a man died following a suspected assault in Newcastle. Emergency services were called to Shields Road in the Byker area of the city yesterday evening. The victim, a man in his 20s, was taken to hospital with serious injuries but died a short time later. Steph Cleesby reports.
A busy high street, now the focus of a murder investigation. Emergency services were called to Shields Road in the Byker area of Newcastle at 7:25 yesterday evening. A man in his 20s was found to have serious injuries and taken to the Royal Victoria Infirmary by ambulance, but died a short time later. Police have launched a full investigation into the man's death, and 3 people, 2 men aged 24 and 22 and a boy aged 16 have been arrested on suspicion of murder. All 3 remain in police custody. A large police cordon remains in place on Shields Road while investigations continue. Many businesses in the area remain closed and buses are being diverted. Officers from Northumbria Police have made an appeal for anyone with information about what took place last night to contact them. But they say there is no wider risk to the public. Steph Cleesby, BBC Look North, Byker.
Former North East coal miners have been in London today to demand that the government stops retaining 50% of any surplus funds in their pension scheme. This is said to amount to around £120 million a year. A government report in 2021 said ministers had a moral obligation to improve the deal for mine workers, but for many former miners, it's already too late.
There's £1 billion left in the fund at the moment, which is held, and they keep hearing it's the public purse. It isn't the public purse. That's deferred wages, our wages.
With 7 people in our village lost, like the beneficiaries of the scheme in the last 5 weeks, and that's ongoing. We're losing 14 miners a day of beneficiaries of that scheme.
Now, Cumbria's biggest entertainment venue has reopened after a £2.5 million revamp. The Sands Centre in Carlisle has been shut for nearly 3 years. Well, part of the Sands was forced to close in 2023 when substandard concrete was discovered in the building. 200 tonnes of the material has now been removed by contractors. Work to the roof was delayed and the opening set back by severe storms last quarter. A Nepalese Sherpa has travelled more than 4,500 miles to Teesside to thank children for their fundraising earthquake. Barleyfields Primary in Ingleby Barwick partnered with Sri Garma School in Nepal after the 2015 earthquake. Stuart Winkup has this report.
The Nepal earthquake killed more than 8,000 people, destroying towns and villages.
I was in the cafe with my friend. The whole building shook. Public houses and schools and monuments, everything's fallen off. It was so frightening and devastating.
Like many schools in Nepal, Sri Gama was badly damaged by the earthquakes, but fundraising by a school more than 4,000 miles away has helped rebuild it. And today, Dower travelled to Teesside with a simple message.
And I would say thank you and namaste.
Barleyfields wanted to partner with an international school to improve the children's understanding of other countries.
This animal is used by agricultural students. Here we can see many kinds of vegetables like cauliflowers, chilies. It's quite interesting to see the big differences between the way we live our lives and we are at school.
They walk miles and miles to get to school, but we just 2 minutes in the car and we're here.
We can just pop to the shop and and they can grow crops, and it's an amazing difference to see.
The new school will now meet earthquake-resistant standards, and the charity classroom in the clouds is working to encourage more young girls and women in Nepal to stay in education.
The lives are very different, and our children appreciating some of the hardships that some of these children have had to go through, and the things that they take for granted that are not there. It's just been fantastic.
In Nepal, getting education is a privilege, but here they take it for granted. I mean, some children that have to walk for hours to go to the school. Education is key to the world.
Dower said the fundraising and friendship shown by a school 4,000 miles away had made a real difference to the lives of hundreds of children in remote communities across Nepal. Stuart Winkup, BBC One NE&C.
Football. England get their World Cup campaign underway in just a few hours. This week we've been focusing on the 6 players in the squad from our region. So far we've looked at Cumbrians Dean Henderson and James Trafford, as well as Geordie lads Elliot Anderson and Dan Burn. And today we turn our attention to 2 Mackhams, Jordans Henderson and Pickford, whose careers started at Sunderland.
He's got over 80 caps, is headed to a 3rd World Cup and has some of the most memorable saves in Three Lions history. Jordan Pickford is England's undisputed #1, and he's been a trendsetter since his time in Sunderland's academy.
We couldn't wait to get to the first team. When he came in, he was like a 16-year-old, and he always had an eye over the far side. And Steve Bruce used to come out and walk his dog, and all of a sudden, that's how we watched Jordan. One Saturday morning, we were all training, and the dog came on the pitches, and Pickers tries to run after it, doesn't he? And jump on it, so dived out the dog's feet.
Joining at 8, Pickford developed under Mark Prudder and then academy boss Kevin Ball. Yes, that Kevin Ball. And he's credited the pair with keeping his feet on the ground and pushing him to be his very best.
He was getting better and better. Now, as time progressed in the youth team and into the under-21s, it was a waste of time in being with our 18s and 21s. That's the personality he is, that he needs to be challenged.
Even from the time that he went on loan with Craig Little at Darlington, then he goes to African Town of all places with Nicky Laws, who give him a phone, do you want a goalkeeper, takes the madman, and he's off and running, he's playing men's football. Then you look at him now and he's got 83 caps, it's unbelievable.
Another local star who joined the Black Cats Academy at 8 is Jordan Henderson, the midfield stalwart set to feature at his 4th World Cup. But before he pulled on the red and white stripes, Henderson's career started at Fulwell Juniors under the guidance of Sean Turnbull.
He would play anywhere for you. Honestly, he would play anywhere. You see, he wasn't even captain of my team. He was like vice captain, but he would do anything. The wall would. Had a spot on attitude. He trained with the older ones. My son was playing for the older ones, and he trained with them. He used to come when he wanted to. He used to get his dad to bring him.
Henderson was another who developed under Kevin Ball at the academy, and his former coach saw him as a dressing room leader even back then.
Even he questioned me in training about things I was doing, and I go, What do you mean? And he'd go, well, I've seen this. I go, well, show us then. I said, if it works, great. If it doesn't, you go back to what I said. Now, invariably, it worked, unfortunately. We done what he said. I said to Scott Pearce, our fitness coach at the time, I just went, he'll play for England, no problem. I had faith in him because of his ability, his personality, and his desire to be the best he could probably be. You just saw something special in him.
And now both Jordan Henderson and Jordan Pickford are hoping to do something special with England. Adam Samuel, BBC Look North.
Yeah, we'll see. Now, the Yorkshire Air Museum was opened up to a new audience this week. More than a dozen trainee guide dogs paid a visit to the site near York. The puppies were getting a feel for new sights and sounds and textures at the attraction, alongside their trainers, who are all volunteers. Lovely sight. Now, let's have a look at the weather. It's getting nicely warmer, Paul.
It is getting warmer. That's only part of the story, Carol, yes.
Yeah.
The temperatures hit 21 Celsius this afternoon as the sun came out. Over the next few days it gets warmer still, but there is some rain to get out of the way as well. As we head through this evening and into the night, it's a mostly dry picture. We'll have well-broken cloud, clear spells, just the odd passing shower, and it'll be mild. We've got that southwesterly breeze, and the temperatures will hold up in double figures for most of us once again. Into tomorrow morning then, dry first thing, but there's more cloud and rain out to the west. That's moving eastwards as we head through the day. There'll be a few heavy bursts in amongst it. You can see the bright colours there. Turns more intermittent, more patchy again later in the day. Maybe one or two brighter spells breaking through in Northumberland there through the afternoon. A warmer day than today. We're looking at temperatures quite widely east of the Pennines into the 20s, highs in Ripon 24 degrees Celsius. High grass pollen levels right across the region. And it's that same frontal band of cloud and rain that's been lingering over the last few days. It finally looks as if it'll move through our region as we head through Friday and into the weekend. Behind that, as the pressure builds, it'll be dry, bright, and a bit fresher feel to things as we head into the weekend. So Friday sees a lot of cloud around with that front, some shower outbreaks of rain, and with the temperatures climbing as high as 25 Celsius, we could see one or two thundery downpours in amongst that. But as that clears through, most places have drier, brighter conditions on Saturday, a little bit fresher, highs around 21 degrees Celsius. Carol.
Thanks, Paul. Now, you might be wondering which member of our team isn't watching the football tonight because they're on the late shift. Actually, you might not be watching because you're Scottish.
Oh, I'll be watching.
Oh, there you go. Anyway, it's Adam Powell tonight. Sorry, Adam. That's it from...
Bye-bye.